Hey, this is Matt once again. We're back to another video, and this is a paid request from Dwayne. Thank you so much for that. For anyone that wants to request any type of videos, movie reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, or full playthrough, commentary, whatever the case may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, do have a CashApp as well. Links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. And Dwayne wanted me to do a reaction to this video called The Cinefiles, The Alien Saga. Now, before I start, I did look at the video just to make sure it works and everything, and I noticed a few things. Number one, the channel that this was on, which I have the link down below if you want to watch it so you're not having me lollygagging and talking, gabbing over it. But I recognize at least one of the people in here. It's a guy named Edwin Samuelson. Now, he's the main host here. The reason I recognize him is, number one, I'm listening to the voice, I'm like, wait a minute. This is a guy from a website called AV Maniacs, because I have a Blu-ray called 42nd Street Forever. I think it's from Synapse Films, because I love trailer compilations. I love movie trailer compilations. I adore them. I'm a sucker for them. He was one of the 3 or so people on the commentary, and that's like almost 4 hours long. Because I remember listening to that, and there's a lot of interesting information about these films and trailers that are talked about, or the films that the trailers are showcasing. Also, there has to be a story behind this, but I doubt anyone will tell it. This guy, Edwin Samuelson, he was the director of that Jason Goes to Hell documentary. Did you find, like, he, I guess, has something on Facebook, but it's gone now or something? And it's like when they did the crowdfunding of Hearts of Darkness, the making of Jason Goes to Hell, he was going to be the director. Years later, they added the guy Michael Felcher. And I'm like, huh, that's interesting that they add a director. So it makes me wonder, did something happen with this guy? It makes me wonder if there's a story behind that. I doubt. Hey, Edwin Samuelson, if you ever see this, and I'm a nobody, but if you ever want to talk, you have free reign on this channel. I wouldn't mind. Up to you. But anyway, let's get into it. But I just thought that was interesting. Oh, that's the guy who was making the documentary, which I love, Jason Goes to Hell. But then it's like, well, how come there's another director now? I don't know. Something about that one. Anyway, I'm paused at the beginning. And I probably will show the video because it's about 15 years old. Hopefully the person doesn't get mad about it because, you know, I liked what the guy did on that Blu-ray for the trailer compilation, so curious about this. I love, well, the first 2 Alien films. So we'll see how this goes. I'll pause the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. Sub, counting down, and we got Death Wish 3, alright. We're going to go with theaters, see Death Wish 3, I'm down for that. I'm definitely down to see Death Wish 3. I want some damn movie popcorn now. Movie theater popcorn. Yeah, there he is, Edwin Samuelson. Eric Cohen. Jeff Galishaw. I don't think I ever watched any of these, though. The Cinefiles. I think I've heard of this.
Hey, I'm Edwin Samuelson, and that was an interesting. That was our. I guess that was a nice, interesting panning shot. Anyway,
so they weren't quite ready to put the camera on them.
This show is one I have been waiting for a long time. This has been in the planning a long time. a very long time. And this show is the reviews of all of the Alien films, beginning with the original
and this
from
was kind of like
1979 all the way up to Alien
Movie
versus
reviews,
Predator.
but public
And,
access.
I think this is going to be a very fun
So this is
film.
like
Let's rock.
before
All right,
YouTube
let's
and
go.
stuff.
All right, well, let's begin with the 1979 Alien, which was, of course, made because of Star Wars. Science fiction was big in the late 70s, and
That's
so,
true. Star Wars opened up a
20th
lot. Our
Century
Star Trek the
Fox
Motion
released the biggest.
Picture
What
was
is
made
that
because of
tone I
that.
keep hearing? Well,
Stop
anyway,
cursing.
back to
Damn, the
back
camera
to
won't
show.
center.
Alien was probably
We
the
got
first
fucking noises.
successful blend of horror and science fiction that really became a real blockbuster and made many sequels and is groundbreaking and often copied. And
I'll say right now, one of the greatest monster films of all time.
I can agree with you on that.
I
It's
agree
probably
with
one
you.
of the scariest films ever made.
Yeah, Alien is
And
great.
No one
I
can hear you scream in space.
And it was a brilliantly
actually
it's
it's
a
in
little,
space.
little tagline,
No one can
guys.
hear you
Come on.
scream.
I know.
You got the tagline wrong. In
Help a
space,
brother out.
no one can hear you scream.
Jerk.
You're fucked up, man. No, I'm just kidding. Who cares? You're fucked up.
But the 1970s
Your nerd card got
Alien
revoked.
is probably the scariest film I think a major studio released up until that time. Probably the most original monster ever created out of Hollywood. The film was influenced by two films that I was told. One was David Cronenberg's Shivers, which I think you guys can draw the parallels from.
I
The
never heard
Parasite
Shivers.
element, and a 1950s film called It, Terror from Beyond Space, which if you look at them back to back, it is very, very similar with an alien being stowed away upon a ship and killing.
I've heard of the
cast-
It, Terror
the
Beyond
crew of
Space.
the
There was
ship, not
also,
cast and crew. The
cast.
crew of the
Killed all the stage.
if you look at Planet of the
the
Vampires,
grip and the
some of
It's
the
one of the
backgrounds in
few
that's
films
interesting.
that you can say that was made in 1979 as a sci-fi big budget.
I never
picture
heard
that still holds up
Shivers.
today in
I've never
2000s.
heard Shivers be brought up with Alien.
And,
That's a new one on me.
It's been. I had never thought of how many rip-offs there are of the Alien film. I mean, when you think about it, you know.
I don't even see.
big
I don't
Hollywood
understand the
movies are
Shivers
always ripped off,
connections.
You know, there's tons of them, but I cannot.
I'm
think
dumb
of
on that.
Many,
I don't
you know,
get
a
the
movie that's
Shivers.
been ripped off as many times as Alien.
It was one of the few times I was a 9-year-old boy when it came.
Yeah,
out.
there's a ton of
One
rip-offs
few
of
times when I was
Alien.
just
Some I
little,
enjoy. I mean,
be freaked out.
Leviathan I
Because you
love.
look at that,
With
and
Peter
it says
Weller
Alien,
and
you
Richard
see this
Crenna, that's
egg
Alien
in all this
Underwater.
darkness, and
I liked
was freaked out.
how
And the
Galaxy of
commercial,
Terror.
The TV spot. That
What was
freaked
it?
me out as well. I mean, and then a year later,
The Terror
Chinese commercial
Within.
freaked me out, but that's another show.
A
I believe
ton
that
of
is-
rip-offs.
Alien is your favorite monster movie of all time, correct?
One of my favorite monster movies of all time. But I was
It is
so
a great
fond of
monster
Alien, I
movie.
actually have the original heavy metal comic book adaptation.
Really?
By famous comic creator Walt Simonson.
That's right.
And it's based on the original script, I believe.
based
too.
on the original script, but it
By
doesn't
Dan
deviate
O'Bannon.
that far from the movie. You know, who was
That's
the guy
cool
who
to
did,
have
like,
the
all those, like,
comic
science
book
fiction
of it.
adaptations of movies. He did it like I think he did it like the second like Empire Strikes Back and Alan Dean Allen something.
Walt Simonson, I believe.
No.
He says heavy metal. Does he mean Dark Horse?
I don't know.
Maybe heavy metal was before that.
This
Alan
ain't
something,
about no
something.
book.
Because later on, I'm thinking of Dark Horse Comics did AVP
And the
So maybe it was heavy metal back then, I don't know.
The acting cast is
with the
brilliant.
original
I watched
Alien.
one thing I want to say. Like, you know, whenever you see a woman back at that time in the lead role as the hero, it was always, you know, cliched and like, you know, being the tough bitch. You know, the one
Because
thing
the
that I
original
remember
script,
was,
it
like,
was
Johnny
meant to be a
Guitar, where you
man,
have,
and they
like,
go,
you know,
"Why don't we
Joan
just change to a
Crawford as the
woman?
tough butch lady
Does it
that
have to
was
be a
always
man?"
Ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
the thing
no.
that's interesting about those is that Sigourney Weaver is not sympathetic at all.
No,
No,
she's
for
not.
she
The
isn't.
film, and the way that what I love about the film is that you don't know who's going to get it.
No, you don't.
You know, they set up all these like these kind of like.
Why is she not
you know,
sympathetic?
you know
I
who's
don't
gonna
understand.
be
Why
the
is Sigourney Weaver
survivor.
not
Tom Skerritt
sympathetic?
character is going to turn out to be the hero.
That's what I love about it, because like you know, it's like wow, you're like she's like the least person to survive. You know, it's like wow, I'm surprised she survived. You know,
But here's a bit of trivia: the John Hurt character was originally offered to William Hurt.
and here's another interesting thing. Are you guys familiar with John Finch, who was in Alfred Hitchcock's Frenzy?
Yeah.
He
John
was
Finch.
originally.
I knew
John
William
Finch's
Hurt was
character.
gonna be
He
up
was
for the
in
role
film.
of John
No, I'm
Hurt.
sorry. I take that back. He was actually the character of Ash, the cyborg played by Ian Holm, and he got.
I don't
very
get why
sick
they
with
said
makeup and had
Sigourney
to
Weaver's
have to
not
be
sympathetic. I think she's very
And-
sympathetic.
Feminists gave Aliens a lot of flack because they said that no matter how good this film is and trying to portray this feminist hero, it still resorted to putting her in the underwear at the end. I know that some feminist critics came out of the woodwork on that.
Well,
By the way, she looked very good in her underwear. That's
Well-
some awesome space undies.
well, the thing I liked also about the film is that
Well, the reason
you know,
they did that
they're
was to
running
make
from
her
this creature
vulnerable
which you
because
rarely see.
At your most
during the whole film. I mean,
vulnerable,
you
the
see
state of
glimpses
undress,
but you
this
never really
creature's
get to see the
around.
full alien
Until the end.
Exactly.
And yet,
I mean,
And that's a payoff.
she's able
and
to
the thing
stand
is,
her
that's
own,
what, today's monster
be smart
movies are
about
missing.
it,
It's
come
like,
up
you
with a
know what
plan, and
monster
get
looks
the
like
alien out of the
pretty much
damn
even before you
airlock.
go to see the
You
movie.
usually see it in the poster or the trailer.
Exactly. So that always, but see, why that worked is the same reason why Rosemary's Baby worked, is that it had your imagination going, so that you're thinking of things far worse than what is actually happening on screen, which is why I like Aliens.
Great cast.
Great cast and
Harry
production
Dean
design.
Stanton. Oh, yeah, once again, like I said, the production design holds up to this day. I mean, Ridley Scott knew what the hell he was doing.
It all works. It's very rare.
Yeah,
when
it's,
all the
it's
pieces
Ridley
fit,
Scott's
and
best
that's when
film,
all the pieces
in
fit.
my
You've got a
opinion.
great score by Jerry Goldsmith, which is amazing. You have great production design, great performances, a great script, a great villain, and I have to say, it is a film that stands on its own even today. And
Yeah,
for it
I
to
agree.
influence so many films, in fact, very interesting trivia leading into the sequel. One of the films that it influenced was a film called Galaxy of Terror, which was made in 1981.
And James Cameron
or
worked on the
82
special
by, Roger
effects
Corman.
of Galaxy of Terror.
And
With,
one of the
Aaron Moran.
Aaron Moran gets disemboweled and her head explodes. But one of the production assistants on the movie went on to
Or
direct the
assistants,
sequel,
maybe.
Jim Cameron. And he got discovered on that film when there was a scene with a severed arm with maggots on it, and the maggots were just staying there. So he actually came up with a little thing and electrocuted them.
So
they would
technician.
move.
I always think like
Someone saw
effects.
that,
Maybe
they did the
it's
job of Piranha,
the
then
state
he
from
went
New
on to
York to
Terminator,
keep playing
and
in with Cameron.
then
I know
got the
Cameron
job of
worked
the
on
sequel,
Galaxy
which
of
we're gonna get into
Terror.
right now, which is Aliens.
And I think, arguably, Jim Cameron's finest film.
And the best sequel of all time.
Yeah, you know something?
Yes.
I think I might be with you on that one as well. And it is every bit as good as Alien, but it's a different film.
I completely
exactly.
agree.
And that's what's great,
Yeah.
because Alien, I will say this to my grave, Alien, horror film, Aliens, action film.
Exactly.
With some
Yeah.
horrific touches.
And and for an action film, it's got, not only does it have amazing pacing, I mean, to me, Aliens should be talked about in screenwriting classes on how to build your characters, and a lot of characters too. How to build your characters and how to take them progressively.
I'm just listening
through
because I
each
agree
of
fully
one of
what
the
he's
3 acts
saying.
within a story.
The pacing,
You
the
get to
characters.
care about these characters that are really supposed to be just
Hicks,
two-dimensional
Hudson,
characters,
Vasquez,
like Hudson,
Dr-
Bill Paxton's character of Hudson. I'm sorry, but I was heartbroken when he's hauled through the floor at the end. I mean, these
Yeah,
are
typically that type of
wonderful,
character you would
wonderful
hate
characters,
because
and
he's
you have to thank
whiny,
Jim
he's
Cameron.
annoying,
Jim Cameron
supposedly,
earned his stripes
as
on
in
this
always
film. He
crying
did
about
almost
something.
everything from the ground up.
But his sense of humor and timing of Bill
by the
Paxton
way,
made
the
that character
DVD for
likable.
both of these films are amazing because they include special scenes that were cut out. That there's an intro on Aliens that was not in the theater cut. There was an additional part of the ending sequence in Aliens with Tom Skerritt's character reappearing that was not in the theatrical cut.
Oh, an
And
Alien,
These are
he
meant
means.
to be seen on DVD, but when you get a chance to see them on the big screen, they're definitely a must. I mean, amazing.
That's one thing I want to mention too, since you brought that up. In fact, thank you for reminding me. What do you guys think of the special editions of these? I mean, Alien, there's a very famous scene which was cut out of Alien because of pacing reasons, and it was actually used in the Aliens, the sequel, with the cocooning and stuff, which you actually get to see and stuff,
The scene with Tom Skerritt.
Well, you don't
Yes.
get that included. I mean, you get to see the process, but you don't get to see. Tom Skerritt doesn't reappear in Aliens, though, but
I mean,
you get to see what happens.
Basically, the concept was used in the sequel
Right.
more so. Basically, and also I want to note the new
Well, I think
director
he was
stuff,
talking about
I
he
think it's
reappears in the
actually 1 minute
first film
shorter,
where she finds his
even though it
body,
has, some extra scenes added.
where he's being turned
Ridley
into a
Scott said he
cocoon.
cut that scene because of pacing issues. It's a scene where, she's escaping to blow up the ship, and then she runs into the scene. It takes complete emphasis off the ship exploding, and you're completely somewhere else. Then you go, oh wait, the ship's exploding.
Which,
Yes,
I mean,
so
some could argue that
he
to
said
still
that
fit
was
with the
why he took it
lore
out, and
where
that's why- and he said that the
before there's
original
a
version was the
queen,
director's cut at that time.
an
Also,
alien will
Aliens
take a
to me is also one of
person,
the most quotable.
do some stuff, and create
Well, I wanna ask you, though,
eggs.
what do you think of those new
And it's a
cuts?
much
They're
more of a
fantastic.
longer
I already
process
said they're must-see,
until
right?
you
But
get
You
a
don't think
queen
that
that could
pacing
just lay
ruins the film,
eggs.
that scene?
No, I think that you treat them like separate entities. I think that the original is fantastic, but it's also very interesting to look back. I
So-
don't know if you guys have,
What do you think there, Jeff? Of the
Well,
Alien
I
saga?
haven't really had a chance to see any of the special editions of Alien or Aliens. The only one I did see was Alien 3.
I like the
we're
is
gonna
it
get to, folks.
Well,
is the
before
camera
that,
going to
you
get
were
to
talking
him?
about Aliens. What do you think? You say you think it's one of the.
I think it's
best
one of the. I don't know if it's the best sequel. I think it's one of the best sequels because it depends on how you define sequel. But I think it's definitely one of the best sequels ever made. And to Cameron's credit, I mean, I think Terminator 2 is one of the best sequels ever made. And again, Cameron was behind that.
Sometimes like the person with the camera is like they don't know who to go because they went to like that guy with the
Alien
camo hat,
Spawning.
then it
but
pulled
that's
back
the
really
one that
quickly.
rejected.
No,
That's a sequel too.
That's
not
Piranha
Alien
2 The
Spawning,
Spawning.
Piranha 2.
Piranha 2 The Spawning.
But sorry.
He said the best flying fish movie ever made, and I think I can agree with you on that one.
Well,
But I've
Piranha
also
2,
said
didn't he
when
like get fired from
Yes,
it,
who
so he
actually
didn't
is,
really make it?
Is also in the Terminator in a very brief role.
He was supposed to be the Terminator, but he played a robot in Aliens.
Yes. he
Got
kinda
fired
got
or
to fulfill
quit,
his
however
dream.
you want
And
to put it.
digress.
You know, and one thing that Cameron points out, I believe in the documentary on the DVD, or I read it somewhere, that he points out that the action sequences, the battle sequences, where the Marines, the Galactic Marines, are fighting the aliens in the catacombs beneath the city, were influenced by the bushfighting within Vietnam. He was very influenced by Vietnam movies.
Which is funny, I
and
swear
how
there was a point where Cameron says,
fought,
oh, it's not like
the
Vietnam,
GIs,
but then he
and
says
with
it is.
that, he
Cameron
took
likes to
those,
change his mind all the time.
situations and put
Just
them in
like,
his movie.
oh,
You can really see
I remember
chaos
Ain't It Cool News,
that
Cameron's like,
soldiers
AVP's
go
a good
through
movie.
during their battles
Then years
and
later, oh yeah, it's a
but,
bad movie. But if you looked
but
up the
let's
interview
go to Aliens
when
3.
Alien vs. Predator came out,
You know,
oh yeah, I
Aliens
liked
is
it.
probably the best sequel, one of the best sequels ever made, if not the best.
Agreed,
But
love
3
Aliens,
is a
got it right
different
behind me.
story. It was
And,
made-
and let me say, this is where, on the documentary for Aliens, this is where the creator of the alien, H.R. Giger, says, is quoted, "Oh, this is where things fall apart."
the great Swiss artist, let me tell you.
I don't remember H.R.
Aliens
Dieter
3
saying
was,
that.
a
I mean, he's
highly
right,
anticipated
but I don't
sequel
remember
in
him saying that.
1992, and it was directed by a then unknown David Fincher, who's gone on to many better things as Seven and
Alien
Panic
3,
Room,
God,
The
I've-
Game, and The Fight Club. It came out very disappointing to some. In fact, I was disappointed when it came out. Let's
I
Edwin,
told about
let me
Alien
take
3.
Yeah, take
today.
over.
Just
This is
let
one
him-
that
this is
one
what
that
he's
has a
been
lot to
waiting
say.
I never in my life, well, at that time in my life, had I ever been more excited to see a film. I saw that trailer of Sigourney Weaver emerging out of this bunker in this with her shaved head, and I saw Aliens 3. I almost just went nuts in the theater. I was so excited.
So much I hate
went
about-
the opening night. I was
Some of the acting
I
is
was so
good,
excited. I
like
didn't
Charles
read
S.
any
Dutton.
reviews,
The score is good by Elliot
I saw
Goldenthal.
this movie and I was so mad. I have never been more angry when I left the theater. I was mad at a bunch of films. Independence Day, From Dusk Till Dawn. Never was I more angry when I left. I actually almost stopped.
Why
being
was he
friends
mad
with
about
my-
Independence Day
one
and
of my
From
best
Dusk Till
friends when I went
Dawn?
and saw it.
I don't
Because he
understand
claimed to
that.
like
What's
it really
what's
for
to be
no
mad about
reason.
From Dusk Till Dawn?
But it was horrible.
What's to be mad about
And
Independence Day?
And I wanted to pass the blame on David Fincher so bad. I wanted to blame him, but I don't think he was really at fault. What I do want to blame is the trio of hideous screenwriters, including Walter Hill, who I normally like quite a bit. But he was responsible, along with the idiot that gave the story by, because he must have had the original proposal. But it is the only pretentious lowbrow film I've ever seen. And to be fair, I did see the director's cut, which Edwin here recommended. And let me tell you something, it doesn't do much for the film.
Thank you, I agree with
it
that.
has
The director's
worst-
cut does
some
not
of
do
the
much
worst
for me either.
writing,
I
the
fully
worst
agree.
Dialogue. There's a scene towards the end where they're running with scissors. In Aliens and in Alien, you care about the characters. They each have their own distinct personality. In Aliens 3, they all have bald heads. You can't tell. when
Yeah,
one's
exactly.
dead,
They'll run
one's dying,
around.
and
They're
one's being
rapists and
axed.
murderers.
They all
Why should we
look the
care about
same.
rapists and
And
murderers?
it's the worst
Why
dialogue.
should we care about their
It's
fate?
such bad dialogue that every other word is fuck. You know that that's bad dialogue in a film when every other word is fuck. And the special effects.
I
are
can't wait
some
for
of
this
the
guy to see Rob
worst
Zombie
special
movie.
effects I have ever seen in the movie. When you see the
Every second
director's
is
cut
fuck.
on DVD, sometimes the alien looks like a 10-foot tall creature. Now, granted, in this one, the alien came from a cow. So the alien is supposed to pick up the attributes
Well, it
of a
depends.
cow, I
The
guess,
theatrical
because
was
in
a
the theater
dog,
version,
but
he's in
originally it was a
dog.
cow.
He's in a dog.
Yeah.
But when you see it, the alien's supposed to be 10 foot tall in some scenes, but when you see him in other scenes, honest to God, folks, he looks like the Roadrunner from the Warner Brothers cartoons. You see him running away from things, and he's small and thin and running away, and he looks like the Roadrunner. I mean, this film.
Yeah,
is
there's certain shots that
infuriating, and
it's
from
not
the
CG. I
get-go,
forget what they
All
do.
the characters that Jim Cameron
Right, it just
built
looks
up,
bad.
like Hicks and Newt, he kills him off with before the frame even starts coming onto the screen. I mean, he takes these great characters, and I understand that before this got greenlit, the script was supposed to be the Galactic Marines come back again. I think with Hicks leading them.
There was many scripts.
and they join up with 2 other alien races. One of the races happened to be the alien from the first one that was sitting on the cannon that had its chest
I don't
blown
remember
open.
any of
That was
this.
one of the alien races, and there was a
I don't
third
remember
alien
this
race
with
that
the
they were
other
finally
alien
gonna go
races.
to where the alien home
Never heard
was
that.
and finally eradicated.
From what I
That
heard
would've
was
been a
that it
very
was the
interesting story,
space
but, I
the
mean,
space
this movie,
mall.
You have to look at what's there. I mean, there was many scripts commissioned. One
There's
put
the
out
bit with
Tony
the
Weaver, who didn't want to
virus
be
that would
involved
turn
at the time.
people
They were gonna
into
bring back
xenomorphs,
Hicks.
like it was the
Then she said she
thing.
was going to do it, so they killed off Hicks, and all this. I mean, the film has had a very troubled production history. I didn't like the regular version that came out in the 1992.
One of the
I thought it
heads
was
of
very
Fox
lacking in
said,
terms of characters
"We
and
could
had
throw
many
shit at the
plot holes."
wall and call
Then
an
I
alien
saw
film
the
and people
special
would like
edition.
it."
Granted, it's still a flawed movie, and a lot of the special effects that you mentioned are bad. They were bad in the theater version, but they're also, some of them were added just for home video because it was never finished. There's lots of differences. The movie's about, I believe, 30 minutes longer. And in fact, a huge subplot is restored, which makes a lot more sense. And there's a lot more.
I don't think it made
I
sense.
thought
It's just a
Charles-
crazy
Charles
guy.
Dance was very good.
They
I
lock the
thought,
xenomorph and the crazy
I
guy
cannot
opens
think
it
of his
up and the
name now.
xenomorph gets
Charles
out
Dutton.
again.
Charles
Charles
Dutton
Dutton.
was
Charles
very good.
Dutton was
Which to me was a
terrible
waste. We're
because
back to the same
he
spot.
basically played this stock guy that really didn't fit in with these English prisoners. He was like the leader. He fist fought the alien as they were pouring hot lead on him at the end, but he was still fist fight. Who fist fights somebody, an alien, while they're pouring hot lead? It makes no sense.
But you know what? The problem with the film is
Well, I
like
mean,
you
he
said,
wa-
is the script, because I thought it had a really interesting concept. The idea that
He wasn't really doing that. He was just come and get it. He was being killed,
They're left there,
and then she pours the thing down. He self-sacrificed.
So
So
ideas, you know.
its execution was just
It's just-
so
it's just-
I wouldn't say it was like a
So
fist fight like John
poorly
Van Damme.
If
Although
you
that would've
think
been more
about it,
fun
it's almost
movie.
a remake of Alien. It's the same thing. One alien loose in this big industrial complex.
True.
Yeah, they went
That's
back to
what made
one
it disappointing.
alien.
But they had no weapons, which I thought was an interesting thing. They had to make their own weapons, which they had nothing. I mean, in the first one, they had some flamethrowers and things.
Well, it's interesting, but again, it didn't fulfill the potential. I mean, like I had the opposite reaction to when it first came out that you did. I wasn't dying to see it because I was like, David Fincher, who? And I was like, oh, he made a 9 Inch Nails video, all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, oh, gee, James Cameron, David Fincher,
Who was this
Would it
one?
be? Well, I
So
guess
I
James
totally
Cameron had done the
wasn't
Terminator,
sensitive,
so
The one thing, too, I'll say is I was really disappointed with the way they used Lance Henriksen in the film.
Oh, it's just horrible.
Horrible. They wasted him completely. I mean, they could have done something with that. If you're going to put the person in the movie, then do something with him. Or don't put him in it at all. Don't-
Yeah, he
Just
was
gonna add
either
your
a-
2 cents in.
Well,
The robot that
I'm
was
pretty
rotting
much-
away.
I don't hate it as much as you do, but
Or
I mean, it's still a
they
pretty
put him
bad
as the
movie.
human at
But
the
just
end.
2 things in the film really bothered me. One scene was where all the prisoners decide to attack Sigourney Weaver while she's in the trash yard, and it seemed like a scene that was just there to show Sigourney be tough. Even though we already know the Ripley character from the previous movies, and I just felt
Well, to
like
be fair,
it was
I w-
there because they hadn't done action in a while in this film.
yeah, but
I
Charles
just thought it
Dutton
was
saved
ridiculous.
her. I don't
And
like the scene
other
either,
scene-
but
the other-
I wouldn't say it
it's
made
not
her
even a scene, It's
tough.
a character that bothered me. was
They were
that
ready to
there's this
rape her, and
prisoner
Charles
character
Dutton
who I guess
saved her.
Gets burned
She-
but survives an attack, and all
she
of a sudden
punches
he's
one.
running throughout the film, like praising this alien as like a god. And I just thought this character was ridiculous and was just there so that they could have a reason for, like, when the aliens captured, somebody to release him. And that was really all this.
was
And that was in the
Like,
director's cut.
Exactly, and it
character.
was just a ridiculous. You could have thought of a better way to do it, but again,
I
it
agree
all
with him
falls
on
back
that
to the
character. I
problem
did not
with the
like that
script.
character
Yeah,
at all.
and I'll tell you something. Bad writing can sink the best idea in the world. Aliens 4. You gotta. It's almost like Aliens 3. You got a very promising filmmaker, or a very
Jean-Pierre
accomplished filmmaker.
Jeunet,
You
French
have a script that's
filmmaker.
so atrocious, it sinks whatever good intentions
And
it
I want
has.
to mention who wrote this before.
Joss Whedon.
Which is Josh Whedon, who did Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Well, Alien Resurrection is like a film written by someone whose English is their first language, retranslated into some foreign language and translated back into English. That's what the script is about.
Well, it was directed
Which
by
are
a French-
usually like a lot of French-American movies. Like
Which is
The
funny, Joss
Professional
Whedon said, well, they
and,
used my
Fifth
script, but it's
Element.
like
They are usually like
people
that. They
said them
seem like
wrong and
something's
acted them
lost.
wrong.
And Aliens
There's
Resurrection
a
is
lot
a
of good
great.
concepts in the movie. I mean, I was interested in a lot of the things that they
I don't
had,
think
like,
Jean-Pierre
they're trying
Jeunet
to
was the right
clone
guy.
Ripley character, and she has a little bit of the alien.
He tried
in
to
her.
make
I
his
thought that was
own
good.
But
weird
once again, that execution
type
is
of
so
movie,
poor.
but
execution.
Not poor, I should say
Just off.
atrociously horrible, because if Sigourney Weaver has the alien DNA in her, why prove it? Now remember, we're thousands of years in the future. Why prove it to us by having her beat a bunch of guys in basketball? If that is not That's almost like a John Peters move, and we all know what a retard producer John Peters is. That to have her prove it.
See,
in
nowadays you can't use that
basketball.
word.
And why would
You
you
get
nickname
canceled.
the character Ironsides, the guy in the wheelchair? Why nickname him Ironsides? This is like in the year 3000 something, or something so far flung into the future. And you're naming
Was
a
that his
character
name,
after a
Ironsides?
70s TV cop? That makes no
I don't
sense
remember.
whatsoever.
Well, I mean,
Well, my problem with the film is I sit there and I'm just wondering why did you even bother to make this film? To me, I mean, there's some cute camera tricks. Oh, well, I know why. But it's
paid
just
$17 million for that movie.
exactly, and there's a reason she never got paid $17 million again, and because it was
That's
just
the truth, Ruth.
I mean, she's a good actress, but I just sat there and it's like, yeah, this would have been great, you know, some of these ideas in a different film. But it's like, why even being made? It didn't really need to be made. And I
I agree, it didn't
like it.
Resurrection.
I mean, it has actors I usually like. It has
Ron Perlman was wasted.
Exactly. I always like him, and I'm just sitting here like, this character would have been great in a different film, but in this film, it's like, why bother?
Well,
Once
I
an
like-
alien on a
Natural
ship, just like the
relationship
first
between
movie.
Winona Ryder, you know, that was kind of interesting how they were trying to develop that. But
Winona Ryder, I thought was terrible.
I thought it had a lot of great ideas. It's just like you said, the way it was assembled was
Terrible
poor.
performance.
Piss poor. I mean, you have the thing where the alien becomes kind of human at the end, and
No,
actually
no, no.
gives
It doesn't
birth.
become. That's her genetic. That's like her baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that she gives birth to a
Right.
baby who's half human, half alien, which is
But
Yeah,
interesting.
that was
that
a nightmare. I thought
chupacabra
that was-
looking-
But
That was just a. That
it's
was
a good
hideous.
idea, but the way it's staged is so stupid. It looks ridiculous. It has big
I think
man
it
boobs.
actually had the baby crying too.
Yeah, and then it killed the mother.
Oh.
And Dan Heday's
Chupacabra
character was
looking
ridiculous
fucking
the
bitch.
whole film.
I mean, I actually that was my well, I like the scientists. I thought the scientists
Brad
were the
Dourif.
yeah,
Brad
Brad Dourif.
Dourif.
You
Now,
know,
do we
I-
think the movie would have been any better if Danny Boyle directed it? Because he was supposed to do it.
I don't know because
And he
you
turned
got
it
you
down
got that,
because he was afraid to do a big budget film.
you got
Kinda
you
scared
got
him.
that. Script
I forgot
out.
Danny
It's a
Boyle.
bad
Yeah,
script. I mean, the
there
only
was
thing I
talk
can
of it.
think of is that Danny Boyle probably would have brought Ewan McGregor in. He probably would have brought Robert Carlyle in. He would have brought the actors that he was used to.
But still, there's good actors there. Like you said, Dan
Yeah.
Hedaya is good, and then you got Ron Perlman, you got
Brad Dourif.
and Dominic Pignon, who I
Yeah.
love.
It's good.
You know, and
But the dialogue. Oh my God! I mean, when they're watching, there's that scene where Ron Perlman's watching it's like a galactic home shopping network, and they're showing guns, and he's like, "This is a really good show," and it's like, "This is stupid." I
and
mean,
I want
it's
to say
just
one more thing. There is
stupid.
one really like crap performance in it. One that just got on my nerves. Winona Ryder, I thought was just god awful. Is this person named Call?
Agreed.
Out is basically
Thank you, I agree. Winona Ryder
They're synthetic.
was not good at all.
I
Definitely
I
agree,
thought
man.
that the way that was
She
put in.
could have been better. She could have been
Well,
better.
the
but
problem was that she's supposed to be around all these tough guys, and you just look at Winona Ryder and you realize she's not tough. So
She's out of
that was
place.
my main
It's like she was only hired because
It's
she was
like
a.
too soft.
But how can you, once again,
More well-known
how can you
actress.
prove her DNA is superior to the others with her playing basketball. I just don't understand. I hate to dwell on something that, but you have these so many stupid moments in a film that you're halfway through.
Well,
you're
I don't
like,
think that was
can't-
done
I
to
can't
prove her
get this.
DNA. It was
I
to
mean,
show the
Dwayne,
audience
the studio
just
was
how much more
so
powerful
gutless,
she
as to
is,
say, we
that
can't make this film
she's
without her. Oh my
to really
God. And
make the
to have
audience know
resurrect
she's
her
not
with
like
DNA,
them.
it
She's
was
not
just-
human,
it was just
purely
horrible.
I do
human.
like the director though. I love.
I like
I think he did two
him, too.
amazing films before.
I mean, to
He was
prove the
right person.
DNA, I mean,
It's clear that
they
he
just
didn't have
they took the
control of
chest
the
burst
studio.
out,
They
the
controlled
queen
it.
alien out,
Failed
and
miserably.
she
It
bleeds
definitely-
acid.
And it looked like it was.
We obviously had control over the casting. I mean,
Yeah.
he used a lot of his key actors in it.
And he
But
actually, I heard he
he
had.
must have not really cared much about the script. They must have just
There
gave
was a
him
lot of
working script
communication
and-
problems. He had a translator the entire time talking to him.
Yeah, I
as
was
he
gonna say
doing
he
the film.
doesn't speak English.
He
or
does now,
speak-
but
yeah.
not then. He didn't.
And it is the first time we see CGI alien.
Which was
That's
really
true.
bad. Swimming.
It was bad.
Swimming.
The swimming alien was bad. So
So, well, just when it looked like it was a death for the Alien franchise, we're going to talk about this briefly as we already done another show on it. We got two franchises combined into one, which is Alien versus Predator, which was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. I enjoed it as a
Hack of the
popcorn
century.
movie. In fact, it just came out recently in a new extended DVD, which is an
I do
R-rated
not
cut,
like
which
Alien
we
vs.
always
Predator.
knew
I think that's a
existed.
god-awful film.
Guys, just real quick, what are your quick just sum up your
Sanitized
feelings really quick?
PG-13
Should have been
horseshit.
R-rated. I thought it was okay for what it was. It's no great masterpiece, that's for sure. And the storyline really reaches everywhere. I mean,
It took forever to
storyline
get
really
going,
makes
and
no
the
sense
characters
whatsoever.
sucked.
But for what it was, I mean, it was okay. I guess.
Well, there is a new cut, so you can judge.
I don't
for
think it was
yourself, essentially,
okay. I
The
disagree.
actual R-rated cut, as it's supposed to be. So.
It's
There was no- it was an
entertaining, but
R-rated
again,
cut.
It
Like,
seems like a
there was
money
nothing in
movie.
it.
I would say just catch it on cable, just to actually see it. But it's not something you should run out and purposely go see.
A very annoying movie. That was very annoying. I've tried to see it twice, and there's a point in the film, I can't tell you where it is exactly, where I just stopped watching it.
Really, you gave up on it, huh?
I totally gave up on it.
What is that point exactly?
I don't know. Maybe it's a point where one of the predators is fighting one of the aliens, and an alien manages to overpower the predator. But I'm so annoyed at how they conceived the predators. You know, the predator characters. They made them more muscular and more.
They changed the makeup.
Yeah, and everything. It just,
Yeah, the way they
whole thing
look.
seems so clunky to me, and such a cash in.
I hated I didn't like them much for the Matrix fight sequences between the alien and the
yeah,
predator. Those
you
were
know, it's a
those were
typical
forced.
Anderson type touches. I mean,
I don't mind Paul Thomas Anderson,
Yeah,
but
I
he
know you
definitely.
don't.
Anyway, that's
Event
it.
Horizon.
As you can
Yeah,
see,
I-
our credits are
I-
rolling.
Guilty pleasure.
So
It sucks.
time is over, but best films for us, I guess we could all recommend is The Alien and Aliens, the two best films in the series.
Paul-
Two of the best science
Oh,
fiction
Michael
films ever
Felcher.
made.
And Aliens
Okay.
3, if you
2006,
if you really like
wow.
Aliens 3, I hope you fucking die.
Hey,
pretty
give the director's
harsh.
cut a chance. Look at it. It's an
I
interesting
think you're an
comparison.
idiot, basically. I think you're a moron.
I don't
you
think
can
I
write
like-
us
just
and
take a
defend
look at
yourself.
it.
You're an
From the
idiot.
mouth of babes.
Email us at cinefiles at dvdmaniacs.net.
And if you like Aliens 4, there's no hope.
What was it you said? What was it? I missed that. So the guy on the right says, if you liked Alien 3, I hope you fucking die. Jesus. I've never said that. I've said a lot of things about Alien 3, but I've never said, if you liked Alien 3, I hope you fucking die. God damn, man. But, I mean, they... Not holding back. Not holding back. Gotta say, not, there you go. It did make me laugh, I gotta say. I didn't know Michael Felcher worked on the titles and stuff. Interesting. So obviously, I guess that's how they knew each other. So maybe that's how Michael Felcher became a director on the Jason Goes to Hell documentary. Huh. Because I saw Michael Felcher, Red Shirt Pictures. He's very good friends with the guys at Dead Pit, who I'm friends with. And he did a lot of special features for movies, and now he's got his own stuff. He released the Trick or Treat Blu-ray, which I still haven't picked up yet, although I like the film. Coming out with Fright Night 2 sometime. Don't know when. Probably next year. So that's cool. But that was fun. I mean, that was enjoyable. They had good rapport. They didn't hold back. Very ahead of their time because, hell, how many people on YouTube do the same thing? Talk about movies, discuss. But this, they didn't look like it was on a public access show with a cameraman. Although the cameraman sometimes didn't know what it... It's like, he didn't know, like, he goes to one guy, like the guy with the camo hat, for like 2 seconds, and oh shit, he's not talking. Let me get back over here. There's some stuff, I mean, I kind of wish it was a longer discussion.